What if God gave you a message so powerful that it shook kings, defied nations, and revealed the future of the world? What if your voice became the echo of heaven, calling people to turn from darkness while warning of judgment yet to come? This is the story of Isaiah, the prophet of salvation and divine judgment. A man chosen to see what others could not see and to speak what others feared to say. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because every week we uncover timeless Bible stories that still speak truth, hope, and warning to our world today. Our story begins in the ancient kingdom of Judah, around 740 years before the birth of Christ. The air in Jerusalem was thick with pride and corruption. The people had grown comfortable in wealth and ritual, but their hearts were far from God. Kings rose and fell. Enemies pressed at the borders. Yet instead of seeking the Lord, Judah chased idols, injustice, and empty pleasures. And then, in the year King Uzziah died, heaven opened for one man. Isaiah stood in the temple. The air trembled with holiness. Suddenly he saw it, the Lord, high and exalted, seated on a throne, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Mighty seraphim hovered around him, their voices shaking the foundations of the earth as they cried, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of his glory." Isaiah fell to his knees. The sight was too much for mortal eyes. "Woe to me," he cried. "I am ruined, for I am a man of unclean lips, and my eyes have seen the King, the Lord Almighty." Then one of the seraphim flew toward him with a burning coal from the altar, touching it to his lips and saying, "Your guilt is taken away, and your sin atoned for." In that moment, Isaiah was transformed. He had been cleansed, not for comfort, but for calling. Then came the voice of the Lord, "Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?" And Isaiah replied, trembling but resolute, "Here am I, send me." From that day, Isaiah became a divine messenger to a rebellious nation. His words were fire, fierce and piercing, yet filled with mercy and hope. He warned the people, "You honor God with your lips, but your hearts are far from him." He confronted kings, Ahaz, Hezekiah, and others, reminding them that trust in military power or political alliances would fail. "Do not look to Egypt for help," he said. "Look to the Holy One of Israel." But his warnings were met with pride and mockery. Many refused to listen. And Isaiah bore the heavy burden of truth in a deaf and defiant world. Isaiah spoke of judgment, cities laid waste, the land desolate, people carried into exile. He saw Babylon rising like a storm, sweeping over nations with terror and destruction. Yet even in the darkest visions, Isaiah saw light. He spoke of a promise that reached far beyond his own time, a Messiah, a servant king, who would bring salvation not only to Israel, but to all humanity. Listen to his words, centuries before Jesus was born. "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulders. And his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." Imagine the people hearing that. A child who would carry divine authority, a savior in the form of man. Isaiah saw him long before Bethlehem's star ever shone. But Isaiah also saw what few could comprehend, a vision of suffering beyond imagination. He described the Messiah as one despised and rejected, a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. He prophesied that this servant would be pierced for our transgressions, crushed for our iniquities, and by his wounds we would be healed. Those words, would find their fulfillment 7 centuries later at a hill called Calvary. Isaiah served God faithfully for over 60 years through the reigns of multiple kings. Though history suggests his end was tragic, possibly martyred under King Manasseh, his voice never truly died. His scrolls would echo through the centuries, quoted by Jesus himself and fulfilled in every promise of redemption. Isaiah, the prophet who saw both judgment and salvation, became a bridge between the Old Covenant and the New. Isaiah's message is as alive today as it was then. In a world still torn between truth and deception, pride and humility, sin and salvation, his call remains the same. Turn back to God. Seek righteousness, not religion. Hope not in governments or wealth, but in the Lord who saves. Like Isaiah, we may live in times of moral decay. But just as light pierced his darkness, God still raises voices, maybe yours, to speak truth and hope in your generation. So ask yourself today, if God said, "Whom shall I send?" would you have the courage to say, "Here am I, send me"? Thank you for watching this powerful story of Isaiah, the prophet of salvation and divine judgment. If this video touched your heart, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs hope and truth today. Join us next time as we bring another timeless Bible story to life. Until then, stay faithful, stay inspired, and remember, God still speaks to those willing to listen. Watch next, the story of Jeremiah, the weeping prophet. Subscribe for more Bible stories.